out of Florida State.
Imagine that big guy's only missed one field goal this year, and it was a 59-yarder.
He's had a remarkable season, and James Williams drops deep to return. Charlie Rogers, the normal returner for the Seahawks, is out with a turf toe.
I talked to Bruce Allen about both his kicker and his punter, and they both they lead the league in size. These are not two small people that they've got kicking for them.
Janikowski listed at 255. That's down from a year ago. Shorter kick this time. Williams from the 5. Across the 30 to the 31-yard line.
Offensively tonight, Sean Alexander is going to have to get back to carrying the football 30-plus times. Only carried it 14 times against the Redskins last week. Wasn't good enough. Darrell Jackson, he's got to provide an opportunity to move the chains, convert the first downs, take the pressure off of Matt Hasselbeck. Matt has come up with critical mistakes at key points of the game, especially when he gets down into the red area. He can't afford to make those mistakes against the Raiders.
The first meeting for Matt Hasselbeck against the Raiders, sacked 6 times, knocked out of the ball game, as was his backup Trent Dilfer. Hasselbeck to throw on first down, and throws complete to the rookie Corn Robinson out of NC State. Hasselbeck drafted by Mike Holmgren in his final year with the Green Bay Packers, and he picked him up in a trade with Green Bay this year. But this year has been his only playing experience of his 3-year NFL career. Alexander. Grady Jackson finishes him off at the 45.
And on the defensive side of the ball, Greg Baker, Joe's talking about Alexander carrying the ball 30 times. Well, Baker's the guy that's really got to control Alexander. He did on that last play, made a tackle. Rod Coleman, defensive tackle, he's got to just kind of push the pocket towards the quarterback. But most importantly is Grady Jackson, disrupting Hasselbeck's rhythm. By doing that, I mean getting in his face and making sure he throws the ball when he doesn't want to.
Rod Woodson, who was questionable because of the Charles Woodson starting tonight. Alexander has a little room to run, gets up near midfield.
It's a nice rhythm that the Seahawks are getting into. You come out, you complete your first pass. It is so critical for a quarterback to be able to do that. Then Mike Holmgren can settle in and start to establish his running back. If Sean Alexander can continue an average of 4.2 yards, then Mike's going to have an opportunity to make the calls he wants against a very active defense that the Raiders play.
Alexander in there because of the injury to Ricky Waters, who they hope may be back in a couple of weeks. Give him a lot of depth at running back. Hasselbeck stands tall in the pocket, throws down the middle, complete to the Raider 20. Darrell Jackson out of Florida, and 2 perfect strikes so far from Hasselbeck.
Yeah, but Darrell Jackson runs down the middle of this defense, and there was not a soul near him. If the ball was thrown a little bit sooner, he might have had more time to maneuver in the open field. Now look at the blocking up front. Talk about the Raiders' defensive line. They never got close.
And on this play, you just saw something from the Seahawks that they only put in against Miami. In 16 years of coaching, Mike Holmgren has refused to put in a shotgun. This is now a featured part on third down of the Seahawks offense.
Split the backs this time. 1st and 10 from the 19. Alexander on the sweep. Has the corner. Eric Allen waiting for him, but he gets to the 14-yard line. Gain of 5. Mike Holmgren in his 3rd year here, 10th season overall. Has been to 2 Super Bowls and won 1 in Green Bay. One of the most highly respected coaches ever.
And I really believe that he has the foundation now on this team to do what John Gruden's been able to do. Find some consistency with youth. John has done it on the other side of it. He's brought in some consistency by adding a Jerry Rice.
5 wide receivers in the shotgun for Hasselbeck. Down the middle, knocked away at the last moment. It looked like it could have been a touchdown, but Marquez Pope got his left hand in and knocked it away.
Well, I tell you, you talk about perfect timing by a defensive back. Now, Marquez Pope is a strong safety, and at the very last second, this is getting a jump on the ball. Watch his hand. Bang. The ball's
That to me should have been called. Watch this.
Look at this now.
James Williams gets a chance to get it, but you're right, Paul. He did a nice job of knocking it away from him.
You jumped in too soon again.
I was complimenting you that time.
Again, 5 wide receivers. 3rd and 6. Hasselbeck double clutch. Throws on the run and throws it away.
Ta-da! Ta-da! I love this.
A little applause.
Yes, applause.
A little applause for the
now
kid.
Explain, Joseph.
Matt, come here. Now look, I'm going to tell you, when he comes in motion, I want you to look at that safety. If you get a shot at him, don't. Now, Jim Zorn's the other one talking to him, but ultimately, Mike Holman will have the last word. Watch this. That's the way it works. The head coach gets the last word. But Matt Hasselbeck, it looks like a bad play because he threw the ball away, but he kept in scoring range. It's a good play. That goes down in the good column for Matt.
Because he had been making the big mistake, especially in the red zone. Ryan Lindell, who has hit 9 out of 15 this year, he struggled. Gets this one inside the left post. So a successful opening drive for the Seattle Seahawks. They take the opening kickoff, and they end up getting a field goal out of it with 11:18 to go first quarter. The Seahawks are on top, 3-0. Seahawks draw a first blood, and that's Terry Kirby waiting to return. Kirby averaging 19.2 yards a return. David Dunn, their normal kickoff man, has been banged up. Kirby, a two-sport athlete at Virginia. All the coaches there say he would have been a wonderful basketball player. It turned out to be a pretty good football player as well. Takes it up across the 31-yard line. The Raiders will start from there with 11:09 to go in the first quarter of play from the University of Washington in Seattle. Beautiful city of Seattle, lit up for a Sunday night game with the arch-rival Raiders. Charlie Garner starts at running back behind Richie Gannon. John Ritchie is the fullback, and Garner with the first carry gets to the 37.
Offensively, the Raiders are going to have to do exactly what they've done on 1st and 10 there with Charlie Garner. Give him a chance to pick up 5-6 yards so that John Gruden can get into his groove. Tim Brown's got to be Tim Brown. That means catch 8 to 10 key balls and probably a touchdown pass somewhere along the way. And Richie Gannon, be successful on 1st and 10. He's done a terrific job, over 72% completion percentage on 1st and 10.
Starting his 40th consecutive game tonight. That is a Raider record for a quarterback. Garner, huge hole up the middle. First down to the 48-yard line.
All right, on defense for the Seattle Seahawks, Chad Eaton, number 90. When you say mirror the quarterback, I'm talking about 3rd down. Stay at the line of scrimmage, try to knock down the short passes. LaVon Kirkland control a running game, which he didn't do on that last play, and it's obvious. Sean Springs, at times, he's going to have to cover Jerry Rice and Tim Brown man-to-man, and he's got to do a great job at it.
John Randall, the exceptional defensive tackle, missing the first game of his career tonight. Gannon to throw, and wide of Tim Brown. He got away from Springs, but Gannon couldn't hit him. Seattle also missing Marcus Robertson, who is their starting free safety. He's out with a hamstring injury, so 2 key players up the middle for that Seahawks defense.
Coach, you know, we had a chance to talk to Sean Springs the other day. It hit me something. I mean, he's really upset because of what Tim Brown said for the game that he missed. You know, it's a good thing he might have missed that game because he had to chase me around all the time.
But he didn't mean it that way.
No, he didn't mean it that way. It would have been a tough night for him if he wasn't completely healthy is what he meant.
Gannon short set under pressure. Got away somehow. And throws complete out in the flat to his tight end, Roland Williams. Let's get down to the sideline. Susie Colbert.
Mike, Rich Gannon said there are a number of reasons why they should fear the Seahawks tonight. He's really struggled up here. The last time out was the worst game of his career. 5 of 17, 136 yards, 3 interceptions. Number 2, the Seahawks team was embarrassed last week. And number 3, they're 3-4. It's a division game. This could be a last hope of making the playoffs.
Susie, you're absolutely right. They were really wary coming in. That last pass ruled incomplete. Now Jerry Porter checks in as a 3rd wide receiver. Chad Brown missed a sack on the last play, uncharacteristic of him. Ritchie wide open in the flat. finally knocked out of bounds, but not before he reached the Seattle 37. Anthony Simmons knocked him down.
I don't believe there is any down that you can play zone against the Raiders offensively. If you're a defense and you want to play zone, see how Ritchie looks down the field and sees everything and then drops the ball off to John Ritchie, and he picks up the first down easily. They get all 5 receivers out into the routes. Their offensive line has done an exceptional job of protecting Gannon, and so he just picks and chooses where he wants to go with the ball.
The #1 rated quarterback in the National Football League, 9 touchdowns, only 1 interception, came into the game with a 215 pass streak without a pick. That's remarkable.
You know, the one thing, we just watched Charlie Garner run the ball up inside, and the one thing about Charlie Garner talking to him first and then to the coach, he said, they want to slow me down. And we're looking at him like, well, what are you talking about? He said, he hits the hole too fast. He's like a rocket. I mean, he doesn't wait. They want him to read it a little bit more. Wait for the hole to develop. He can't do that.
You know, I could live with him hitting the ball that hard.
Me too.
I could live with that very easily.
Terry Kirby will now be the deep man in the eye on 2nd and 7 for Oakland. Gannon to throw. Pressure from behind and throws it away. That was caused by Lamar King, the big third-year defensive end who got a hand on Gannon's jersey.
I want to go back to last week against Denver and give you an idea of how Rich Gannon likes to work the field. This is his pass chart. There you go, 2 out to the left, but look at the middle of the football field. Right here. He gets the production, the touchdowns. He sprays it around under 12 yards. Those are the things that he's able to do. He works in very specific triangular areas, but he seems to get the big plays down the middle.
And yet another back, Randy Jordan, number 28, is in for the Raiders. They're incredibly deep in the backfield. Gannon with time over the middle, incomplete. The double team on Rice, and one of the guys, it looks for all the world like a defensive tackle, but it's their middle linebacker, Levon Kirkland. He's listed at 275, but you can forget 275.
Not today. He's not 275. Look at 99, Levon Kirkland. We'll watch him. That's Rice coming across. Levon Kirkland. You can bet Jerry Rice is looking and seeing. There's a guy out there like 300 pounds playing linebacker.
Janikowski, as Paul mentioned earlier, has missed once this year. Tremendous power in that leg, and he knocks it through. A boomer from Janikowski, and we are tied at 3. Virtually unlimited range, that from 52, and it had plenty. Seahawks knotted at 3 apiece, 8:19 to go first quarter. Levon Kirkland, one of several big-time free agents brought in by Mike Holmgren to shore up the defense this year. Williams on the return. Lost his footing and goes down shy of the 20-yard line. Coming up on Monday Night Football, the Ravens and the Titans. That is a 9 o'clock start, and then we will have the Rams and the Patriots for you. Kurt Warner leading that remarkable offense.
Did they, you know, it seems like they get a little time or they lose a football game, and Mike Martz just wants to send a message out to everybody in the National Football League that we really can't be stopped unless we decide the game ends.
Alexander is the deep man in the eye. Play action by Hasselbeck. Good protection again, and another strike. Now the ball comes loose, and Alexander hustles down to make the recovery for Seattle. Corin Robinson made the catch. Allen knocked it loose from him. And a great play by Alexander to get downfield and save it.
Well, I tell you, this is really heads-up play by Alexander. And first of all, Allen, watch him knock this ball out. Bang, the ball is knocked out. That's a great play. But watch this. Number 37, Sean Alexander. Allen does a great job, but Alexander right there to get down on the ball. He went down. Actually, he wasn't touched. Gets back up and gets the first down.
Corin Robinson needs to do a better job of protecting that football. He just carried it out, way out away from his body. And Allen had an easy shot at it. Alexander, only a yard before Grady Jackson literally swallowed him up, the 325-pound defensive tackle.
I want to take you back a little bit. I want to take you to the improvement in Matt Hasselbeck's play from last week to this week. This was the last play when they were down in the red area. You see him go back. Now he looks to the left. He doesn't have what he wants. But as he scrambles around, take a look at this right here. There's the receiver wide open. He's not even looking. He's looking out to the right because Coach Holmgren has said to him, I don't want you to throw the ball back in the middle of the field. That is not a missed opportunity. That's a good play by his quarterback to get 3 points.
Rod Coleman jumps off sides.
Now they go with a little bit of a hard count. These are the things that I look for in a young quarterback.
Encroachment, 57. Defense, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Walt Coleman, our referee tonight.
You like to look for a quarterback to be able to continue to mature. When Mike Holmgren gave up the #1 for Matt Hasselbeck, he expected, not a rookie, but he expected a guy with 3 years experience. He expected him to be more efficient than he has been. He's really been somewhat disappointed, but tonight he looks like he's on a good page.
2nd and 3 for the Seahawks. Alexander tried to take it outside and then gang tackled as he got to the 40-yard line. We asked Matt Hasselbeck about the difference of being a reserve in a Green Bay and a starter here.
I have a lot more responsibility, I think, now than I really realized that I was going to have. I think there's so much about my demeanor, my attitude, my body language, how I approach practice that it's almost contagious, up or down.
You know, my 5-year-old grandson looks older than him.
He really does. He does look young.
Alexander on the toss. They've got the corner. And Big Walter Jones, the left tackle, was out in front, the only Pro Bowl lineman this club's had.
Mike, this is, you were talking about how young Matt Hasselbeck looks. Take a look at this. Oakland's offensive all-pros, Gannon, Garner, Rice, Brown. Look at the years, 14, 8, 17, 4. Go to the other side. You look at Hasselbeck, Alexander, Jackson, Corin Robinson. Corin Robinson was the youngest player in this year's draft. Darrell Jackson was the youngest player in last year's draft.
And yet, because of Mike Holmgren, there's still tremendous expectations here of success. And it will come eventually, but people are very impatient. Hasselbeck again, in rhythm, throws on the strike to Jackson. And Matt Hasselbeck tonight isn't close to what Matt Hasselbeck has been during the earlier part of the season.
Well, he told us yesterday, or the day before yesterday, about that he's ready to play, and he knows what he's doing, and they have confidence in him. And you take a look at this throw. That is a confident throw.
Not only is it confident, but it's in rhythm. There's no hesitation. He gets back, he sets, he lets it go.
4 out of 6, 69 yards. Jackson, the leading receiver on this club with 25 catches coming in, 2 100-yard games. Had a big game against the Raiders the first time. Alexander inside the 30 to the 28, maybe the 27-yard line. Let's go down to the sideline. Susie has more on Charles Woodson.
Mike, I talked to him just before the game, and I'm watching him now. He doesn't look like he's 100%. The Pro Bowler, he says he's got a little pain with that turf toe, but he's got to go. He's got the right cleats on, and this synthetic turf really shouldn't grab too much. They still will use him the same way they have been, challenging him. Put him in the slot, let him blitz, let him do what he typically does. He had one of his best games against this team the last time out, his first sack.
And Susie, this turf should be pretty good for everybody. Here's Alexander again, following strong. Down to the 22, close to a first down. This is one of those surfaces that's got the ground-up rubber and the sand as a base, so it's not like the old AstroTurf where you just beat yourself to death.
Well, the only thing you can see about Woodson, though, Joe, is when he was in coverage, when he has to push off. This is Sean Alexander here, but when he has to push off, that's where he's slow.
And I personally don't think that with the youth of this wide receiving core and without a veteran like Ricky Waters in that backfield, although Sean Alexander's done a good job, I think both Allen, Torrey James, and or Charles Woodson has to get in the face of the receivers.
3rd and less than a yard. Alexander's got it. Grady Jackson got one big hand on him, but couldn't hold him. Seattle offensively has looked very sharp here in the first quarter.
Well, the one thing the Raiders told us that they needed to stop on this football team, and a lot of teams say the same thing, we have to stop the running game. Well, I'm going to tell you something. So far, they have not stopped the running game. Sean Alexander's done well. You said, Joe, he should carry the ball 30 times?
He's working on it.
He's had 6 so far. And we're still got 3 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Jay Graham has replaced him on 1st and 10. Hasselbeck scrambles out of the pocket. Inside the 5, nearly dehorned by Anthony Dorsett, but he got down.
You can just see the confidence. He talked about it. Body language is so important. Look at the decision process. Okay, I don't have it. Now I'm going to tuck it away. Protect the ball, dive forward. Just look at his eyes. All you need to do is look at a quarterback's eyes, and you can tell whether he's focused, whether he knows what's going on, or whether he's confused. This kid is focused.
He made the right decision with Dorsett coming head first. First and goal. Alexander is back in there with Strong, the blocking back on the right side. Alexander cuts it outside, nowhere to go. Marquez Pope was in the backfield along with Woodson.
Down here against the Raiders, the Oakland Raiders, is tough to run wide against this football team.
I think
because they get their defensive ends get upfield so well, and they allow the linebackers, and you just see two linebackers making a play, Smith and Beekert, they allow their linebackers to be active.
all three of them run well. Smith, Beekert, and William Thomas all have the ability to chase very, very well.
4 wide receivers, 3 grouped to the near side. Robinson is the single wide out to the left. Hasselbeck throws it away. And Hasselbeck was leveled by Grady Jackson.
I'll tell you one thing, they got to go back and take a real good look at this, because they had Sean Alexander going out in the flat all by himself.
This is a good job up the middle. Paul, you brought it up. They've got to put pressure up the middle. I want to show you the youth of a quarterback. What you didn't see at the end of that was Matt Hasselbeck put his hand up like he expected Grady Jackson to help him up off the field. Not going to happen, pal. Don't waste your time.
No, Grady will knock him down again, but he's not going to help him up.
These are the Raiders.
3rd and goal. Empty backfield. Quarterback draw. Hasselbeck to the 2, and he took a shot from Johnny Harris.
You know, linebackers, defensive linemen, defensive backs, they just cannot wait to hit a quarterback. And when you give him this big a target, watch this. Johnny Harris, number 37. Bam!
Nice.
Now remember something. He's a runner now, and they come helmet to helmet.
Yeah, but let me tell you, as a quarterback, his foot slipped. It just looked tougher than it was, really. His foot just slipped out from under me. That's all it was, guys.
Are you watching this game?
Ryan Lindell on for the field goal on 4th and goal from the 2. They send on the special unit and take the lead 6-3. Seattle with 2 impressive drives, but they haven't been able to get it in the end zone. Still, they lead at 6-3. A 79-yard drive for the Seahawks. Took nearly 7.5 minutes off the clock. They only get a field goal out of it, however, and lead the Raiders 6-3.
I don't think you're going to beat the Raiders with field goals.
Lindell to kick to Kirby. Kirby from the 10. Seam up the middle, and he takes it to the 34-yard line. Matt Hasselbeck has led 2 fine drives. He learned something on the last one. Help me out, Grady. Oh, I guess not. 43 seconds to go. First quarter from the University of Washington. Seahawks and the Raiders, a battle of field goals so far. 6-3. Raiders will start from their own 34. Charlie Garner. What a burst. Then he lost his footing and went down, got back up without being touched, and reached the 46.
Man, you're talking about experience. First of all, when we talk about him hitting the hole fast, Joe, if he didn't hit this one fast, he doesn't make it through it. Watch Charlie Garner. But the thing I'm talking about experience, watch what happens here. He's not hit. He goes down. He's only gained about 7 yards. Watch this. Up. Picks up the other 4. First down.
4 carries, 31 yards. He's gotten so much more work since Tyrone Woodley injured the knee. And he's really come through for them. Garner again. No hole to hit this time. And taken down at the 45-yard line, Lamar King the first of several Seahawks to make a tackle. There is Sweetley, missing his 3rd game tonight. That's the end of the first quarter of play from Seattle, and the Seahawks trying to get back to 500. The teacher trying to beat his pupil. Seahawks by 3. Have to avoid the big mistake at quarterback. Their defense has to play the way they had until last week. Both things have come true, so they've got the lead.
Well, one thing about them, 11 minutes and 9 seconds, they had that ball, Joe, in the first quarter.
2nd and 11 for the Raiders. And they'll whistle this play dead. Paul, you were saying ball control, and certainly keeping it away from Rich Gannon's a great idea.
It is a great idea, but I think the other thing, too, is that you have the ball for 11 minutes and 9 seconds, and you only get 6 points out of it. You've got to get touchdowns to beat this football team.
But the way they did it, they ran the ball well with Sean Alexander. We saw Matt Hasselbeck make some very good decisions. He's now playing the way Mike Holmgren expected him to play, and it's something to build on. Remember, the backup quarterback for Mike Holmgren is Trent Dilfer. He only won a Super Bowl.
Seattle called a timeout prior to the movement by the offense. That'll be Seattle's first team timeout.
And I think that's why we saw the at nearly 300 pounds, still has the quick feet, the leading tackler on this ball club. 2nd and 11. 3-man rush. Gannon with time to John Ritchie. Ritchie pushed out of bounds by Simmons inside the 45-yard line.
Joe, what's amazing about Rich Gannon, I mean, that's the 2nd time now he's throwing the ball to Ritchie. He threw a pass to him for a touchdown in the Denver game, and the whole bench went crazy. This guy really and truly sees the entire field and everybody that's in it.
Well, he knows where everyone is. I mean, that's only John Ritchie's 9th catch of the year, but they come at very critical times. This offense is based off of progressionary reads. You look one place, you look another place, and you have to be disciplined to take those looks for the 3rd receiver to get open.
3rd and a yard. Ritchie is the single setback. And Gannon wants to throw for it. Under pressure, sidearm incomplete. Gannon was hit as he threw, coming from behind Tim Terry. And the Raiders will have to punt it away.
I'll tell you, this is one decision. He made a bad decision. He could have run for the first down and made it. He pulls up, and watch number 59. There's block, that's Terry, and then hits him afterwards. A clean hit. Gannon could have had the first down if he ran it.
So Shane Leckler comes on. Tied for first in the National Football League. 47.3 is his average. Kicking it to Bobby Ingram. But too far. This one will go into the end zone.
There's a guy to preserve his average.
Yes, well, the net went down to 24 on that one. And John Gruden not happy about it. And the Raiders give up the football. The Seahawks will have it at the 20 when Lee come back. It's got to be tough getting on an airplane dressed like this to go on a road trip.
It is. But speaking of divisional games, you know, Seattle moves to the NFC West after this year with Arizona, St. Louis, San Francisco. So this will be the last time these two teams will play for quite a while.
The Seahawks have had the football most of this ball game. 11:09 to 4:35. It's a good sign for Seattle's offense. Hasselbeck on target again to Darrell Jackson. 3 catches for the 2nd-year man from Florida, who was their 3rd-round draft choice a year ago.
Matt Hasselbeck spent the year, actually 2 years in Green Bay before he got here. And the thing he did when Mike Holmgren drafted him, he didn't even talk to him. He was on the scout team. He ran the scout team. Mike didn't pay hardly any attention to him, but obviously he kept his nose in the books to get the system down.
Alexander cuts it back across the 30 to the 31. It's going to be a first down.
Another point on that is Gil Haskell, the offensive coordinator, and Mike Holmgren have really pared this offense back. This is not the kind of an offense, the complement that, say, Rich Gannon or Brett Favre would have at their disposal. They've limited things to allow Matt and the young receivers to grow together.
There's only so much you can throw at a guy, and there is Trent Dilfer. 2-0 as a starter with this ball club. Alexander. Hard run, almost broke it, got to the 45, another first down. Dorsett literally saved the touchdown.
You know what's happening? It's this offensive line. You got Weiner, Todd Weiner, Gray, the right guard, right tackle, and the center. These guys, Robbie Tobeck, they're moving the defensive line. Watch the right side. Look at the hole for Alexander to run. Now, the last 4 or 5 yards, he basically gets on the zone. But he's already 6 yards into the secondary when he gets hit.
Something to be said for playing at home. This young man, the leading all-time rusher in the history of Alabama. Alexander again. Looked like a little cross-buck action that time and across midfield. The Seattle offensive line has allowed 30 sacks so far this year coming into this game. Walter Jones, the former Pro Bowler. Hutchinson is the big rookie out of Michigan. Robbie Tobeck, the veteran center. Chris Gray at right guard, and Todd Weiner, who has been alternating with Chris McIntosh at the right tackle. Right now, they are doing an excellent job against the 4th best rushing defense in the National Football League. Alexander again. Also, give a tip of the cap to Max Strong, the fullback, who's thrown some good lead blocks.
But also, one of the concerns, as I visited with John Gruden earlier today, his football team came off a very emotional win in Denver. They're also beat up. He had to modify practice. These guys didn't work as hard as they normally do because he just didn't have enough healthy bodies to be able to put them through that. His concern tonight was, what level will they play at? And I think it shows in one area in particular on defense, and that's tackling.
3rd and less than a yard. Hasselbeck. Second effort on the quarterback keeper. Will have it at the 44-yard line.
The biggest concern for this Raider team on defense now is something that they told us yesterday when we talked to them. We have to stop the run. And again, everybody says that. When they have a pretty good runner in the backfield, we have to stop the run. And we would rather have the ball in the hands of the quarterback. Well, they haven't stopped the run, and when the quarterback's throwing, he's doing a great job.
What you look at on offense with Seattle is the efficiency with which they're running plays. They're catching the football when they're given the opportunity. They're making the extra yards after the hit.
They show blitz and come with it. Alexander, nice cut to get to the outside. Gets down to the 40-yard line. Monday Night Countdown, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. The best place to get ready for Monday Night Football. Then at ABC at 9, Ray Lewis and the Ravens will travel to Tennessee to face Steve McNair and the Titans on Monday Night Football. That is a do-or-die game for those ball clubs. They're both in trouble.
And what Steve McNair has done is he has now taken the burden of that football team on his shoulders. And you saw last week just how talented he can be.
Jay Graham is in to give Alexander a breather. And Hasselbeck wants to throw it. Too far for Robinson. Double coverage. Woodson was over there along with Dorsett. The other thing this ball possession is doing is setting up the second half. When you have a defense that's on the field, as long as the Raiders have been, you wear down. And there's one example. Grady Jackson on the sideline, and he looks a little woozy.
Well, this is one of the areas where Joe was talking about where the Raiders are really hurting the most, and that's on their defensive side of the ball.
Chuck Bresnahan trying to keep his forces going. They haven't really gone after Hasselbeck. I think sooner or later you've got to blitz him.
Time of possession is 4-1 in favor of Seattle. 3rd and 6. Hasselbeck down the middle and threw that one behind Jackson. It was wide open.
The only problem about time of possession, the only thing I hate about a lot of people make a big deal out of time of possession. That's fine, but what do you do with it? They only have, again, they're only up by 3 points, and it's 4-1 in their favor. They've got to put some points on the board.
Yeah, but here's a case where your quarterback just fires one right behind the receiver. Now, this could be a fact where Darrell Jackson was supposed to sit down in the hole in the middle. Maybe a miscommunication between the two.
14-year veteran Tim Brown back to field the punt of Jeff Tigers, playing in his 215th consecutive game. That is an NFL record for a punter. And Brown, who used to return kicks all the time, makes the fair catch at the 11th, a 29-yard pooch punt. And with 9:48 to go in the half, the Raiders will take over deep in their own territory, down by 3. And the injury starting to mount on both sides. Raiders take over at their own 11-yard line. They haven't been able to do much with this Seattle defense. Rich Gannon has hit only 2 of 7. Garner punches it out near the 14. Maurice Kelly, who's starting from Marcus Robertson, is in on the stop from his free safety spot. Rice and Brown have led this ball club all year long through the air. Neither one has a catch tonight. Gannon has thrown for only 26 yards. 2 of 7, both catches by his fullback, John Ritchie. Would really like at least a couple of first downs. Give their defense a breather. Gannon short set and throws a strike. Jerry Rice to the 32.
All you got to do is mention their name, you know.
Little simple isolation on Willie Williams. Jerry Rice, he's given him a lot of room.
That was just catch 1,312.
And further away from everybody. Now, of course, holds 14 NFL records. Virtually every one at the receiver position.
Garner out of the backfield to the 49-yard line. Kelly has to make the tackle again along with Charlton. A gain of 17.
He throws to the backs. He throws to the receivers. Watch the middle open up. Look at this throw. Charlie Garner does a nice job. Good protection up front, giving him a throwing lane. Charlie catches, tucks, and goes.
Charlie got up after he made the catch during the run. He looked at Chad Brown and said something to him. All Chad Brown was doing, they just looked at him and laughed. What are you going to do, little man?
Back to the eye, Terry Kirby, the running back. They fake it to him. Gannon lost it and got it back, lost it again. And the Raiders get it back again. Excellent hustle by Barry Sims, the left tackle, to save it. They fumbled twice, got it back both times on the same play.
We remember the problems that Rich Gannon had here last year. We saw the stats before. 5 for 17, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. He doesn't like, and I don't know many too many quarterbacks do like, he doesn't like handling a wet ball. This one just slips right out of his hands, bounces up to him, then gets knocked out again. Good hustle by the Raiders.
That thing just slipped out the second time. He wasn't even hit.
And you know Rich Gannon hates this. He is such a perfectionist. Little screen to Kirby. Got away from a couple of tacklers and makes it to the 50.
Michael, yesterday we're sitting there talking to Rich Gannon, and Susie had to bring it up to him. He says, you know, you haven't played well here in a couple of years. Rich Gannon looked at Susie and said, you have to remind me?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for that bit of information.
How about a nice paper cut? 8 turnovers, the second fewest in the National Football League. They have allowed just 9 sacks, and this is their 8th game. 3rd and 9. Crowd's really into it now here in Seattle. Gannon sidearms one to Brown. Tim Brown with a big catch down to the 28.
Does anybody throw better sidearm than him?
No, sidearm to me is a very accurate way to throw, but you have to have the offensive lineman create throwing lanes for you. You don't have to be an over-the-top throw. Watch how this ball comes out. Richie sees the field. There it is, coming out on the side. That's quite all right, thank you very much. As a matter of fact, so often in baseball, guys drop down to the side for control purposes. When you're struggling a little bit on offense, go find a captain. He'll get it done for you.
I mean, that's Quisenberry sidearm there. Garner back in. And Garner dives head first down to the 26-yard line.
He's never going to be a patient runner.
No.
Are you kidding me?
No way.
He couldn't get his feet going fast enough when he was in the air.
The one thing, you know, we're talking about Tim Brown. You saw that play, and he said, as the Z receiver on this football team and in this offense, I am the guy.
Yep.
He said, so every single play, I have to be aware that the ball may come to me first.
Which means that the other guy, Jerry Rice, can't go to sleep because it could come to him.
Gannon steps up in the pocket. Ritchie with his 3rd catch of the night breaks a tackle. And near the 10.
Oh, boy.
Chad Brown had a shot at him and couldn't hold him earlier. He missed a sack on Gannon, and it results in a gain of 17 yards.
I don't think there's a more embarrassing situation for a linebacker or a defensive back or anyone in space. Now, here comes Richie to the outside to miss a tackle. Watch this. Richie just turns back to the inside. What Chad Brown did not do was break himself down and get himself in a football position to make the play.
I think part of it is the footing out here, and Richie does such a nice job of keeping his feet under him. He's just not going to get knocked off balance.
First and goal. Gannon is 5 for 5 on this drive. And now he's got to use the timeout on the door.
I think Tim Brown's the guy you have to really be conscious of if you're the Seahawks.
Garner on the toss. Nice cut back inside the 5.
Oh, I was going to say, or Charlie Garner on the toss.
Outside with his speed.
A little late with
But
his quickness.
TDs.
10th play of the drive coming. Gannon end zone touchdown, Tim Brown.
Boy, man, where did he put that ball? Oh, what a throw. What a throw.
Nice job by the offensive line, too. Rich Gannon did a real nice job of moving around in the pocket and allowed Timmy to make the play.
A precision strike by Gannon. He was perfect on the drive. 6 out of 6, 83 yards. And Brown has his 4th receiving touchdown of the year. Janikowski adds the point, and the Raiders have taken the lead 10-6. The 14-year veteran puts the Raiders ahead for the first time in the ballgame. The drive started at the 11. They went 89 yards in 5.5 minutes, and Brown got the touchdown from Gannon. Williams on the return, bounces off one tackler, gets to the 24.
I want to show you how they throw to spots. This is Tim Brown. He's going to run all the way over right to that hash mark. That's where Rich Gannon wants to find him. In this offense, you run to spots. Timmy, get over to that hash mark, and I'll give you the ball. Right there. The 3 guys clear it out. Look, Gannon's looking at where he wants to go with the football. Now he sees it. Chad Brown couldn't catch up to him. Tim Brown touchdown.
Not much room to fit that one in, but he got it done. Seahawks start from the 24. Hasselbeck, plenty of time. Now he'll dump it off and throw it away. Max Strong was wide open, and Hasselbeck threw it away. Let's go down to Susie.
Touchdown. Tim Brown has talked about just what it means having Jerry Rice here. For one, he says he hasn't really been double-teamed. Jerry Rice brings legitimacy to that other side, besides the fact not too many people want to double-team a 35-year-old. But he has enjoyed helping Jerry Rice get acclimated to this offense, and the two have worked together fabulously.
And, Susie, it was interesting. Tim told us yesterday, no reason he wouldn't come back for another season. Alexander needed to get to the 34-yard line for a first down. He reached the 35.
I'll tell you, this guy is a very good runner. Now, Ricky Watters, we know what he means to this football team. But when he was called upon, Sean Alexander, number 37, has done a terrific job running the football. I mean, coming in here averaging over 4 yards a carry and doing what he's doing tonight.
And when Ricky comes back, he will be the starter again.
No question about it.
When Alexander was in high school, they retired his number while he was still playing. As a senior in high school, he rushed for 3,166 yards and 54 touchdowns. Caught a couple of passes, too. Gets this one up across the 42.
Just to show you the night that Sean Alexander has had so far. There he is, taking it outside, cutting up inside, running hard, getting a big pop. Again, working outside, showing his speed, nice patience. Now this one he'll cut right up and really running through an awful lot of arms of the Raiders.
One other thing he did tonight was recover that fumble, which could have been very costly.
Absolutely, Paul. 2nd and 3. Seahawks have given up the lead, driving, trying to get it back. And they've got a first down on another strike to Jackson. The 4th catch tonight for Darrell Jackson. James and Pope combine on the tackle. Now, last week, both of these wide receivers, Robinson and Jackson, dropped one pass after another.
Jackson dropped 2. Robinson dropped 4. Tonight, Darrell Jackson, 64 yards, averaging 16 yards a carry. But you just see him continue to get more and more confident. Little 5-yard hitch, plant. I mean, he's catching this ball and knowing what he wants to do with it.
Now, all those drops go on the quarterback statistics. So Hasselbeck's numbers looked a lot worse than they were last week. Some of those balls are caught. Things are a lot better. Jackson all the way to the 35-yard line. 5 catches for Jackson. He has already racked up 80 yards against that Raiders secondary. And Hasselbeck getting some encouragement from Mike Holmgren. Part of the collection of Paul Allen and Jody Allen Patton, the Experience Music Project. 80,000 musical artifacts, including the largest collection of Jimi Hendrix memorabilia in the world. Paul's got all his albums.
Yeah, what'd he do?
Hasselbeck, short set, throws a slant and another strike to Jackson.
You know, here's a classic situation, Joe, you're talking about with these wide receivers. If you don't get up on them, if you don't disrupt their pattern, they can do this all night.
See, I think they're so young that, you know, with the experience you have with Eric Allen and Charles Woodson, who's not in right now, even with Torrey James, it doesn't matter. You still have guys who have the ability, I think, to be good cover press corners. You're going to lay off these receivers. Mike's going to continue to run slants and ins all day long.
Both teams with 2 timeouts left. That's Bobby Ingram, number 84, who's been a very valuable addition as the 3rd wideout. Hasselbeck, room to run. Slides in at the 11-yard line. And Hasselbeck has done a good job tonight getting out of the pocket when he's had the opportunity.
There's a case where the Raiders decided they were going to press the wide receivers. They pressed and ran with them. That gave Matt Hasselbeck an opportunity to have an impromptu quarterback draw.
Let me go back to last week, because Matt Hasselbeck was benched at the half, and Mike Holmgren told him, you're not doing things my way. You're still trying to do it your way. Until you're ready to do things my way, you aren't going to play. Tonight, he is doing them Mike Holmgren's way. Alexander, who ripped as he got to the 10-yard line. What a shot. Eric Barton, number 50, drilled him. And a timeout for Seattle. They've had several good drives, no touchdowns as yet. Raiders show blitz. Picked up and Hasselbeck throws. Jackson, touchdown. Oh, what great protection for Hasselbeck. He just sat in the pocket as long as he needed to.
You know, Michael, we're giving a lot of credit to Hasselbeck and to the receivers and Sean.
Jackson caught 4 of those passes. Lindell for the point after, and just like that, the Seahawks respond and regain the lead.
That's what I'm talking about. Jones, Hutchinson, Tobeck, Gray, and Weiner. These guys up front. Watch this offensive line work. Look at this. There's nobody close to him. He's got all the time in the world to throw.
He gets a chance to double clutch a little bit, wait for Jackson to make the move, and does a nice job of putting the ball in, even with Torrey James hanging all over him. Yeah, Matt, good job.
And for Darrell Jackson, 7 catches, already a career high for him. 7 for 102 yards. He came into this game catching 25 balls. So he's caught nearly a Seattle.
It's called the Seahawks.
Squib kick. They let it go through, and Kirby fields it at the 20. And then dives forward to the 36-yard line. Coming up at the half.
We're giving him too much room.
Gannon under pressure, and this slammed to the ground by Antonio Cochran.
Antonio Cochran beat Frank Middleton, number 73, clean.
Big night. And they'll let the clock run out. The Seahawk fans are on their feet as their defense has played the way it did earlier in the season and much better than the first time that they played the Raiders and were pummeled 38-14. Get on. Raiders will get the ball to start the second half. Terry Kirby from the 10. Cuts into the outside. Kirby midfield. It's a foot race. 30. 10. Touchdown.
No flags.
90 yards for Terry Kirby.
I said defense and special teams, didn't I?
I think you left out the special teams part.
What a great run. Boy, don't question this man's speed, because I'll tell you, when he breaks through the middle of this thing, watch Terry Kirby. There's going to be one move right now. And once he makes that move and gets to the outside, it's over.
What a wonderful job the wedge did by giving him one place to cut and go. And that gives you an example of just how fast Terry Kirby can get down the field.
Reggie Tongue with a desperation drive. Couldn't bring him down. The first career kickoff return for a touchdown for Terry Kirby out of Virginia.
How does a young football team that's riding high, they're riding high, they go in at halftime, they've got the lead, they've played very well. All of a sudden, they turn around, they come out, they know they're kicking off, and bang. Before their offense ever gets on the field, they're down 17-13, compliments of Terry Kirby. Now, there's a special teams coach and a head coach that's absolutely ecstatic. Now, that's one that John didn't draw up. He does a lot of drawing up of plays. That's one he doesn't draw up.
And that's why the Raiders have a chance to go to the Super Bowl this year, because they are so strong in every department. Keep in mind, Kirby is filling in for David Dunn, who is hurt, who's their regular kick return guy. Kirby has also done a great job as a reserve offensive running back.
Not anymore, he isn't. You're only a kickoff return guy if you can run him back for a touchdown. Bob Casulo, who is the special teams coach, he just, I was talking to him last night, and he said, you know what? We have really good special teams, and it's easy when you've got the best punter in the league and you get one of the best field goal kickers in the league. He said, but when you can get guys to block and believe in what you're trying to do on special teams, he says, then you've got it made.
I also think it goes to show you that you don't need guys with lightning fast speed as return men. You need people who are patient and can set up their blocks.
Now it's James Williams' turn. Taken by one of the up men, and they'll get it out to the 39-yard line. Heath Evans, a backup fullback, fielded the short kick by Janikowski. Take a look at the first half numbers, and the time of possession still nearly 2-1 in favor of the Seahawks, and the total yards 235 to 142. A single penalty in this game.
But I'll tell you what, you credit the Seattle Seahawks offense and their defense. Only 23 plays the Raiders ran in the first half.
That 24th, or that first one, the second, killed them.
17-13 Raiders. Hasselbeck goes right back to the air, completion. And Allen wraps up the rookie Corn Robinson after a short game.
I just think you're going to see the Raiders defensively with their corners play a lot closer to the wide receivers. On that particular play, you saw how close Eric Allen was. Charles Woodson is out of the game. He keeps trying to play with that bad turf toe and muscles through it, but he can't. Torrey James doing a good job.
Torrey James is a very good corner, but Woodson one of the best there is. Hasselbeck dumps it off. Strong tried to make the one-hand catch and couldn't. Hasselbeck, a very good first half, 132 yards passing, no mistakes. That was the big part. Alexander rushed for 74 yards, and Jackson set a career high with 7 catches and 102 yards and a touchdown.
One of the keys on that stat is 17 rushes by Alexander. He's going to have to touch the ball at least that many times in the second half for the Seahawks to maintain their offensive philosophy.
And it's surprised to watch it come out and throw twice in a row.
4 wide receivers on 3rd and 7. They'll try to run for it. Alexander appeared to have some room outside, cut it back inside, was stopped at the 45. Woodson was back in the ballgame and made a tackle.
Well, I blame this one on Sean Alexander, because the rookie Corey Robinson, number 81, had an excellent block. If Alexander stays to the outside, and that's what we're telling him, if you stay to the outside, you got first down.
And he's got Todd Weiner, the big tackle, out in front of him as well. But he apparently saw something.
Sure, always in hindsight, you guys.
Oh, what Mr. Hindsight.
Fiegels to kick to Tim Brown. Brown signals fair catch, lets it go, and it bounces into the end zone. 55-yard kick, but the Raiders will have the ball at the 20, and they've got a 4-point lead for Rich Gannon, courtesy of that kickoff return. A back-and-forth game from the start. Gannon starts them off from their own 20. Gannon short set, throws to Rice to the 35-36-yard line. Let's go to Susie Culver.
Micah had a chance to catch up with John Gruden just after the half. I asked him if the injuries and playing on the short week was having an effect tonight. He said, no way. There's no excuses for that. And besides, Denver won today, so they have to win. As for the play of Matt Hasselbeck, he always said he liked the way this kid looked on film, but he says the Seahawks are showing them a lot of looks. You're going to have to settle in and play better defense.
All right, Susie, thanks very much. From the 37, the Raiders with the first down. Garner behind Ritchie. And Charlie Garner will get the carry. Upended at the 38-yard line. Chad Eaton was in on the tackle. Take a look at the Raiders stars and how they've done so far. Gannon, 126 yards, 9 out of 14. Garner with 40 yards on 8 carries. Tim Brown's been held to 2 catches, but one of them went for a touchdown.
A lot of that has to do with the fact that the Seahawks just didn't give the offense a chance to get on the field for the Raiders.
Gannon with his 8th straight completion. Tim Brown to the Seahawks 48.
Well, that time Sean Springs didn't bump and run the old men.
No, he didn't, and you need to. If you're going to be outside and you're covering Tim Brown by yourself, you've got to, like he said, you've got to get up in his face. You can't let these guys come off the line of scrimmage. Watch how wide open Tim Brown is.
Good passing lane again. Sean was so funny yesterday when we had a chance to talk. He said, you know, Tim Brown's got moves like your dad. It's just like you're covering your dad out there in the street.
Well, your dad must be pretty good.
Movement.
Well, Sinclair moved first, number 70, Mike Sinclair. And if they...
Oh, no, they're going to call this on the Raiders.
I think they are because Sinclair...
Sinclair what?
False start, 65, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Unless you get into the neutral zone and don't get back, or if you're trying to draw them offside, Sinclair was making a legitimate move trying to jump the count and got back, I believe.
Yeah, but you see, that's it. If you make any kind of a move towards the offensive player, and the offensive player reacts, see, that should be a penalty against the defense.
That's not the way the rule reads.
You can't draw them off sides. I don't think so.
Read the rule. Read him the rule.
Where is that book?
Jerry Porter is in at third wide receiver, very athletic. Garner, nice hole, held up by Sinclair till he gets help.
You said it in the first half, and I just wonder how they're going to ever convince Charlie Garner to slow down and take a look. Because as soon as he gets the ball, he's in full speed.
What a difference. You know, we do the Jet game, and you watch Curtis Martin, who had another sensational, another Hall of Fame type of game today. You watch the patience with which he glides along. Charlie Garner's like a rocket ship out of the backfield.
Gannon straight back. Brown wide open. Caught him in a blitz. 18-yard gain for Tim Brown.
Ike Charlton fell down. As he tried to get out into the flat, he just falls down, and Tim Brown winds up wide open. Number 23 is going to fall down. Timmy says, here I am, Rich. And you can still see no one near Tim Brown.
Charlton wouldn't have been there anyway because he had himself caught in the middle of the field. They had a blitz on with Sean Springs on a corner blitz that never got there.
Number 5 all-time in catches, 8 Pro Bowls on his resume, 8 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, going for a 9th in a row. Kirby on the toss. Sinclair takes him down at the 25.
Michael Sinclair has really changed his approach. He was all caught up with wanting to get sacks. That was the most important thing to him. He just has 2 this year, and a guy like John Randall has 5.5. Chad Brown has upped his sack production to 6.5. But Michael Sinclair now realizes that he's the last holdover from what was really a great defensive line here in Seattle. And now he realizes he has to fit in with this group of guys.
Back in '98, he led the NFL with 16.5 sacks. Randy Jordan is in there. He goes in motion. Garnered a single setback. Blitz coming. Gannon in trouble. Rolls away from pressure and throws it away. Good job by Richie Gannon just to get rid of the ball and avoid the sack.
Levon Kirkland, number 99, who is, again, the biggest middle linebacker in professional football, almost gets to Rich Gannon, and then Rich Gannon just throws the ball out of the end zone.
Well, if you're Richie Gannon, you're breathing a sigh of relief.
You know, it's not so bad in hitting you. It's after when he falls on you.
Kirkland comes out on 3rd and 7. Gannon dumps it to Jordan, upended. He did not get the first down. Sean Springs went for his ankles and sent him straight up in the air and down, and Jordan is hurt.
Jordan is hurt. He landed on his head. Here it comes. Richie Gannon out. He's going to just a little dump pass to Jordan. Watch this. He gets his feet cut out of him underneath him by Springs. And watch this land. He lands right on his head.
Marcus Bell covered him. We will check on Jordan's condition when we come back. Beautiful city of Seattle. A spectacular downtown. Janikowski on to try from 37. He's hit from 52. Had a little hook on that one and got it through. So Janikowski now on the year 16 out of 17. And the lead grows to 7. The Raiders back in control in Seattle. Good news for everybody. Randy Jordan is all right, able to get up and get off the field on his own after taking that head-over-heels spill. Janikowski to Williams.
Look out.
Has the seam. Fumble comes loose. Janikowski had a shot at it, and the Seahawks will get it back. What a break for Seattle at the 48-yard line.
They have had 2 opportunities to turn the ball over, and good hustle has saved them. James Williams comes up, big hit. Sebastian Janikowski tries to recover. There's the hit.
Now, I think it's Williams. Watch Williams get up and recovered his own fumble.
Okay, we've seen 2 heads-up plays, one by Sean Alexander, this one by Williams.
That'll get him right out of Mike.
And out of bounds. The ball will be brought back to the spot of the fumble. First down.
Now they'll respot it. They're saying the ball was fumbled forward, so it will go back to the initial point where it was fumbled.
Well, they will a little bit, but that's true. But Sebastian Janikowski tried to, bounce on the ground.
Bounced off his belly.
That's why he's a kicker.
He got the bounce and missed the ball.
All right, now you got to settle down your offense. You've had some things go against you. This is where Matt Hasselbeck has to get back in the rhythm he had in the first half.
Starting from the 39, Alexander dragging tacklers with him, gets it up to the 44-yard line. Next Sunday night at 7:30 Eastern, join Chris Berman and Tom Jackson for NFL Primetime. Then on ESPN Sunday Night Football, Kurt Warner and the Rams battle Tom Brady and the Patriots at 8:28. For more, log on to ESPN.com. And has there been a more surprising story this year than Tom Brady for the Patriots?
Not at all, but how about the Rams? It's over 300 yards rushing. Ouch.
Hasselbeck. He's going to run, dives for the first down marker, and they mark it right at the sticks.
You just have to be impressive with the decisions he's making. Of course, Gruden's not impressed at all.
No, John's a little hot.
He's letting everybody know that they got to get pressure on him. Now they bring the blitz. Beaker comes up inside, but he winds up getting tied up. It looks like the Raiders want to bring more blitzes against him. Hasselbeck doing a nice job of using his legs. Now here's a guy that's really had a groin problem all year. And it bothered him a few weeks ago. Trent Dilfer filled in for him, but it looks like a lot healthier moving around tonight.
Rush for 37 yards tonight coming into the game and only run for 39. Alexander bounces it outside, gets to the Raider 41. Flag is down. Marquez Pope made the tackle. Back of the 45 where it might be a hold, and it is.
This is a holding penalty, but this was an excellent run by Sean Alexander. That play was running to his left between the guard and the tackle.
Offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Between the guard and the tackle, there was nothing there. Sean Alexander broke it back, and the reason there was such a big hole is because they were holding.
And that's the first flag against Seattle after they had been perfect in the first half. No penalties, no turnovers, no sacks. The last time they did that was 6 years ago against these same Raiders. It's a remarkable achievement in this day and age, especially to the young ball club.
Oh, I mean, all the mistakes Holmgren thought they might make, they haven't made. But they can't let that one kickoff return destroy them.
1st and 14, Raiders show blitz. And they come. Hasselbeck. Baker drives them into the ground at the 43.
That's what you're talking about. That's what they have to do. They can't let any quarterback sit back there and survey the field. Greg Baker, number 54, looking on the blitz. Now, here's a guy blitzing. He's controlled. He knows he hasn't been blocked. His job is to get to the quarterback. He breaks himself down, gets to the quarterback, and gets a sack.
What concerned me as I watched Matt Hasselbeck work the pocket that time is even with the blitz coming, he made really no attempt to try and get the ball off to one of the hot receivers. That tells me that he sees a little bit too much of the rush.
Baker's been so good for so long, never seems to get any credit for it either. Hasselbeck with a great throw. Wicked hit by Baker, but hanging on is Corin Robbins. How did he hold the ball?
Don't you love Baker? Well, if you saw the Monday night game when he nailed the receiver coming across the middle, he got fined for that. But this shot here is just perfect timing. Number 54 is Baker. Number 81 is Robinson. Look at the perfect timing. Bam!
He told us the other day, I don't want guys feeling comfortable coming into my area. I don't think that's a problem anymore.
That wasn't even his area.
I know. That was a different neighborhood.
Hasselbeck from the shotgun. Ingram. Bobby Ingram inside the 20. Bobby Ingram was so good in Chicago. 5 years with the Bears. One season he caught 88 passes. They brought him in this year, and he's been a great third down receiver especially.
And Mike, that was just a couple years ago in 1999.
Yeah.
And this is why they brought him in. They couldn't get Jerry Rice. Mike Holmgren wanted to bring a veteran receiver in to help out his young guys. Wound up with Bobby Ingram and has been very pleased with his veteran leadership.
First catch for Ingram. Mike Holmgren loves tough receivers, and Ingram is tough. Alexander really hesitated, then found the hole. Down to the 6. Now that's the difference between an Alexander
Charlie Garner.
and a Charlie Garner that we're talking about hitting the hole so fast. He was so patient and waited for the blocks till a hole opened up.
And again, first of all, let's give credit to this offensive line. But look at Alexander wait, and then he sees the hole, and he picks up 11 yards on the play. But this is called patience. He is not as quick off the ball as Charlie Garner is, so he has a chance to be more patient.
21 carries, 100 yards for Alexander, and it's 1st and goal. Empty backfield for Hasselbeck. too strong for the tight end Christian Fourier. The first time they've thrown to him tonight. More on Alexander, down to Susie.
And Mike, we know how important it is for a running back to build that relationship with the offensive line. He says you've got to get the line to believe in you, that really it's all a mental game. If they believe you'll make something happen, they work that much harder. Well, he originally came in for Ricky Waters, his first game, week 4, 176 yards, 31 attempts, and he's been trying to keep that confidence rolling.
And Susie, this is his third 100-yard game this year. He's the single setback on 2nd and goal. Draw, Alexander. Touchdown. That's a pretty good call by Mike Holmgren, too.
Well, now.
They spread the Raiders out. They really block the inside. Grady Jackson's being blocked by Steve Hutchinson. Just one-on-one blocking. The offensive line of the Seahawks is winning up front.
Lindell to tie it. $20 apiece. And this is the kind of ball club that everybody in Seattle expected from the moment that Mike Holmgren arrived in town off that great success in Green Bay. They're getting closer and closer each time they play. If you rush for 106 yards, you'd have steam coming off your head, too. Tied at 20. Terry Kirby on a 90-yard return. Have a chance to take this one 95. Reaches the 33. The ball came loose. The Seahawks say they have it. No signal from any official yet.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Nobody has made a move. Nobody called anything. And if they didn't say he was down, then it's got to be Seahawk ball.
No official made a signal. Now they're going to talk about it.
No official was even close.
Okay, here comes Kirby.
He's hit. And I think his knee's on the ground, to be honest with you.
Well, the thing about it is that nobody did anything, and no one even blew a whistle.
See, I think his knee is on the ground with Reggie Tongue holding on to him before the ball comes out. The problem was there's not an official in sight. Watch this. Knees on the ground. No, that is not a fumble.
Well, here's the important part. The call on the field is a fumble.
That is not a fumble.
Now, if they challenge it, it has to be overwhelming evidence.
I got a problem with these officials making that call. There wasn't any one of them in a position, in my opinion, to actually see what took place.
This is one of those deals where there's no call. Absolutely no call.
Well, this is where John's going to challenge it, and he should.
Oakland has challenged the ruling on the field that it was a fumble.
But you know what, Joe? If they're not sure, I would rather have them rule it this way so it is reviewable.
Mike, if I would just have them rule it either way. I agree with you, but not necessarily this way. Just make a ruling. There's no question that his knee is on the ground before the ball gets ripped out.
Well, that one, the replay we just saw is the one you really want to see. That shows the knee down.
Right
this
here.
one also shows the knee down.
You can see that right there. See his knee? See the ball? See his knee.
Good job, guys. Great shots.
That is a great shot.
Those two shots right there should allow the official to make his decision, which, what it looks like, will be a reversal. To cast your vote, log on to ESPN.com or NFL.com and click on to ETV. And let's start the voting now. Raiders have challenged this one.
The Oakland offense is already walking out onto the field.
After reviewing the play, the runner's left knee was down prior to the ball coming out. It will be Oakland's ball. First and 10.
You know what?
Oakland will not be charged a timeout.
We haven't talked about this in a while, but it is for this reason that replay was approved by the owner.
Exactly.
They want the game to be done fairly. The officials did their job. They made a ruling. Now they went and reviewed it, and they got it correct.
They made a non-call is what they did.
No, they eventually made the call.
After the fact.
Well, they didn't make the call until they made the call. They had a conference. Nobody called it immediately, but they had the conference, came out and made the call that it was a fumble.
But I just said before they were done.
I understand.
Hey, guys, they're playing.
Where? Gannon goes to Brown. Double team taken down at the 40.
I love John Gruden's philosophy. You've had a ruling. You've had the game stopped. It's slowed down. Seattle has just taken the ball and driven it against your defense. What do? You come out and you get the ball to the leader of your football team. You let your two best football players make a play for you to get back in a rhythm.
You also get yourself in a 2nd and 3 situation.
Charlie Garner lowered his head, got about a yard. And let's check in with Susie.
And Mike, let's go back to Tim Brown, because one of the great things for him this season, he didn't have to learn all over again with the new quarterback. In fact, he's with the same quarterback 3 seasons in a row. Look at this list of guys who he's had to play with, and only one other time in his career has he been with a quarterback for 3 years straight, and that was Hostetler. But refreshing for Tim Brown that he can just concentrate on football.
And Susie, also refreshing for the franchise when they have that kind of stability. 3rd and 2. Zach Crockett, a very good short yardage player, is in. They'll block for Gannon. And now Ritchie will run it himself and get the first down.
Well, you know what you like about this play is when Rich Gannon comes out, he sees he's going to run the ball. He points to Roland Williams, number 86. And the thing that Williams does, he just turns upfield. He knows he's not going to throw it to him. Go block somebody.
And you brought it up before, Paul. There was a play very similar to that earlier in the game where he decided not to run with it. They wound up not getting the first down. This is a guy who's learned from the experience of what's happened in a previous quarter.
Richie Gannon has run for a first down now in 20 straight games. Only Steve McNair has had a longer streak, and he's had 2 of them. That one was almost picked off as Willie Williams got there.
You know, on this play, Joe, is one of the very few times you'll ever see Tim Brown stand flat-footed and not come back to the football. And what he did, he almost got it intercepted. This ball was thrown a little bit late, but look at Tim Brown. He's just standing there. He really doesn't go up for the ball. He's on his feet. The ball is tipped away. They are lucky that thing wasn't intercepted.
One of the problems for the Seahawks is that both Willie Williams and Sean Springs, 2 excellent corners, got hurt in the preseason. They've missed a lot of time. Garner falls forward to the 47. It'll be 3rd and about 7.
All right, Joey. What do you do? Don't say Brown. Give me anybody but Brown.
I think Rice. Yeah, Brown.
Anybody but Brown.
Yeah, Brown and Rice is a heck of a meal, to be perfectly honest with you. But what I think Gruden wants to do is, the thing is, Jerry Rice, you know, he never was the most physical receiver, and at his years in experience, you want to move him a little bit, give him a chance to make a play in the middle of the field. The other guy, obviously, has been big for him, is Jerry Porter.
Offside on the defense. This is a free throw.
Chad Brown jumped early. Ritchie takes a couple of shots, got near a first down. I think they're going to end up taking the offside call and getting 5 yards, bringing up a 3rd and short.
I'm going to tell you something. Anthony Simmons almost killed himself trying to hit John Ritchie. John Ritchie is so strong that, and Anthony Simmons is a linebacker.
Defense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Simmons went for the knockout shot, and he was the guy who was nearly knocked out.
Well, he's 236 pounds, and he's got a shot at Ritchie. Watch 51. Bang! He gets knocked out by his own guy. Ritchie still maintains his balance, almost gets the first down. Look at this. Then finally, Chad Brown, number 94, has to come over and knock him out of bounds.
The thing about Ritchie still isn't on the ground.
Ritchie started as a linebacker at Michigan for 2 years, then went for Stanford. And Sean Springs is out of the ballgame. When he went to Stanford, he played fullback. Charlie Garner in on 3rd and a yard, and now the Seahawks will have to burn a timeout.
33. Gutsy call here would be to try and take it up the field deep. Try and go for a big one.
Gannon, short set, throws to Brown, incomplete. The rookie Ken Lucas was out there with it. A rare misfire for Gannon.
No. A rare drop for Tim Brown. This one goes right through his hands. This one here is what? Gannon fires it out. Tim Brown doesn't really...
Well, you're right.
He just takes his eye off it because I think he sees Lucas, and he really doesn't make an effort to go get the ball.
Leckler to kick to Ingram. Fair catch, and makes it at the 11. 38-yard punt by Shane Leckler.
Boy, there's something. Fred Biletnikoff, one of the all-time greats, visiting with Tim Brown, and now goes over to Jerry Rice. Well, you know, if you're
more about that in a second. Seattle takes over at its own 11. Alexander, nice cut. Alexander to the middle of the field, and he's gone. Troy James trying to catch it. Touchdown.
Tell you something again. I've been saying this all night. We all have. What great blocking up front. These guys, Walters, Hutchinson, Kobeck, these guys in the line, Gray and Weiner. This was one cut and straight down the middle of the field for Sean Alexander.
88 yards for Sean Alexander. Tonight he's carried the ball 23 times for 194. What a neat cut he made. And then you saw the speed. Lindell with the point after. That was the first time this year the Raiders allowed a run of more than 20 yards.
Here it comes. Now watch his first cut right back to the inside. Steve Hutchinson got a great block on the outside, the left guard. And once he got in the open field, it was goodbye.
Marquez Pope comes up to Phil. Anthony Dorsett, the other safety, Paris Pope. Dorsett overruns him. Pope's never in the picture. And that gives you an idea why they drafted Sean Alexander.
Look at this offensive line. Watch these guys go to work. Here they come. Hutchins goes to the outside. Number 71 is Walter Jones. But their blocking is right there. But the cut he makes, he cuts back against the grain against all the defensive backs. They were caught flat-footed, and he went on. But did you see Joe the run at the end?
Total offense. The Raiders only 222. Of course, that doesn't count the 90-yard kickoff return. And Kirby gets another shot here. Still on his feet across the 35.
Sean Alexander, there's his distribution as he's running. 23 rushes, 194 yards. 8 runs to the left, 8 runs to the right, 7 up the middle. Of course, the big one, this last one, giving him 117. But the three previous games to the Redskin game, they featured Sean Alexander. He carried the load for them. They played very well in those games, won them. Now you go against the Redskins, he touches the ball 14 times. They throw the ball 23 times in a row.
Right.
They lose miserably.
Now it's the Raiders' turn to respond, down by 7. Gannon wants to change the play.
Timeout. No, they didn't take it.
Rice. Oh, beautiful tackle. Williams came up from the corner, got him around the ankles and wouldn't let go.
Michael, just one other thing about Sean Alexander. When Susie was talking about him, he said, you know, the team has to have confidence in me. I have to run so that I can gain their confidence. I think he did it.
I don't even play with him, and I believe in him. No, he did. He put on. He really, and you know, you smile, you see that we see in his headshot. That's the way he is all the time.
Oh, Brown goes in motion and runs right into big Lincoln Kennedy, who backed out early.
Lincoln Kennedy.
Hello. Gannon under pressure and throws behind Brown. Look at all the Seahawk defenders. Tim Brown yards. Not up to his normal numbers. All day to throw over the middle, knocked away by Kelly. And Porter wants a flag. He's not going to get it.
Kelly, I'll tell you what, it just really looked like Kelly got there a little early.
John Gruden arguing his case, so was Tim Brown, but the Seahawks had come back to take the lead by a touchdown. And Oakland's going to have to punt the ball away. Bobby Ingram waits back at his 20 for the punt of Shane Leckler. Wow, crushed it. Out of bounds inside the 10. Let's see where they mark it. At the 10-yard line, a booming 57-yard shot by Shane Leckler. A lot. Alexander with another carry rolls up to the 14-yard line.
You know, Mike, they're talking about the fourth down.
He's approaching the club record set by Kurt Warner, 208 yards. And there it is, and more. To the 30, another first down. They're on their feet in Seattle. Sean Alexander has now run the ball 25 times for 215 yards. Holy cow.
Give him that ball.
Protects it going through traffic, and then just becomes a scat back when he gets in the open field. They are just wearing this Raider defense down. Their defensive line is like they don't exist.
Go back to... No matter how good you are, you can't stay out there forever. A club record for Alexander. We're not done yet. Nice catch by Jay Graham. Little shovel pass from Hasselbeck. Couple of bobbles. Got it and fell forward.
That one looks...
Graham stays in, giving Alexander a well-deserved break. And now Graham bulls his way to the Raider 44. Holy cow, what a running game they've unleashed tonight.
If this was a basketball game, you'd take a 20-second timeout, but it's not. I think what the Raiders have to do, it's obvious that their front four cannot control Seattle's offensive line. Look at the holes that are being created. Great job by Max Strong creating an opportunity. I think the Raiders have to start blitzing. They're going to have to get the safeties committed closer to the line of scrimmage, or else they're going to run it down their throats.
Strong has thrown half a dozen wicked blocks as the lead guy. Alexander is back in. Cuts it back, gets to the 41, covered up by Reagan Upshaw that time.
It's like what happened to the Seahawks last week against the Redskins. They were ranked 4th in the league going into that game.
And this week they're 15th because they were ripped by Stephen Davis. Alexander this time, courtesy of Grady Jackson, only gets a half yard perhaps.
To be back by the end of the month. My guess is Mike might convince him that December might be a good idea.
When he went out with the injury, he was averaging 5 yards a carry. Ricky wasn't doing too bad himself. Hasselbeck, complete down to the 39. Eric Allen with the tackle on James Williams.
But that's really the first... we saw him, Hasselbeck get sacked once.
High floater. And out of bounds at the 8-yard line. 31-yard kick and perfect placement for Jeff Fiegels. John Gruden knew it was going to be a long night. Perhaps he didn't know it would be this long. Place Market that opened in 1907. The Raiders now face an uphill climb starting from deep in their own territory under 10 minutes to go.
This is a drive that the Raiders need for a couple reasons. Number one, their psyche. Number two, they've got to give their defense a chance to rest because look at the time of possession. Almost 20 minutes to 30.
For number 3, they need a touchdown to tie it.
And this is an offense. You got to admit, the Raiders are an offense that control time of possession. 32-17 to 27-43 coming into this game.
I thought mine was pretty good.
Yes, it was. Gannon Tim Brown dives to the 24. Susie has something on Levon Kirkland for us.
Well, it's his attitude going into this game, firing up his teammates. They know the Raiders are a great team. Yes, they have respect, but he said, great teams, well, we know they're great, but we don't really care how great you are. And the same thing for Rich Gannon. Treat them with respect, but not too much respect. He went out there and said to these guys, just play tough and let's have fun. And you can tell they are tonight.
And Susie, that's pretty tough to do after you were waxed the first time they played, 38-14.
This is interesting because Steve Sidwell, the defensive coordinator of the Seahawks, has decided to go nickel on 1st and 10.
Fumble. Williams recovers. Zach Crockett took the toss. The hit shook it loose, and Willie Williams was right there for the Seahawks.
Zach Crockett is a guy who has hardly played tonight. Hardly played. Now, what Gruden wants to do is he wants to give Charlie Garner, obviously, a little breather. He cuts up. Watch the hit. Anthony Simmons comes in. That's a classic put your hat on the ball. Willie Williams covers up, makes the recovery. Terrific tackle. Terrific tackle.
Boy, it was. Simmons just stoned him. The ball comes loose.
And what a job by Steve Sidwell, the defensive coordinator. He changed up on 1st and 10, went with a nickel package and some speed on defense.
Now the Seahawks with a chance to make it a 2-possession game. Alexander dragged down by Beekert at the 19.
One of the things that Joe talked about is really true. They got this defense right back on the field again, and these guys are really tired.
And give them a lot of credit. Give the Seahawks offensively, Gil Haskell, Mike Holmgren, coach and coordinator. They're not running up the middle. They're running sideline to sideline, and you've got those big Raider defensive linemen chasing Alexander, 224 yards worth of chasing.
Boy, and they'd like to gain the yards, eat up some clock, and put more points on the board right now. Alexander again to the 10. And they are just eating up this Raider defense that had been so good coming in.
Well, you look at Sean Alexander and what he's doing. He's only making really one cut. On that long run that he ran, he made one cut. Look at his eyes. He believes in where he's going. Watch it move. Out, back in the one cut, and get your shoulders square and back up the field.
And, Paul, you've made the point 2 or 3 times tonight. Exceptional blocking by the offensive line, the tight ends, and the lead blocker.
Well, this offensive line for Seattle has taken control of the football game.
Christian Fourier, the tight end, has done a terrific job as well.
1st and goal, Alexander, touchdown.
I'm just telling you, the old one-cut deal. Give him a cut, let him run.
They're just lining up over the ball and saying, here we come, boys. Stop it if you can.
The Raiders physically cannot stop him or this offensive line. Terrific job by Robbie Tobeck in the middle. They run left, they run right up the middle. The safeties collide, and Sean Alexander comes out the other end in the end zone.
As a team, Seattle has rushed for 299 yards, an all-time Seattle record tonight. Lindell for the point after he got it. The turnover burns the Raiders. They're down by 14. 7:03 to go from Seattle. Sean Alexander with a club record 243 yards rushing tonight. The most yards ever by a single back against the Raiders. Broke Eddie George's record. The best he ever had at Alabama was 206. Another loose ball for Kirby, trying to return the kick. Now he wants to get outside. Lucas chased him out of bounds at the 36.
Had 120 yards rushing in the 3rd quarter. That long run, the 88-yarder, came with 1 minute to go in the 3rd quarter.
Greg Beekert and company just haven't been able to slow him down tonight. Zach Crockett, whose fumble led to the last Seattle score. They're up 34-20. Raiders start from their own 36. Gannon What a catch by Charlie Garner. Beautiful hands.
And the Raiders are in a hurry-up offense. Gannon's calling the plays at the line.
They need 2 touchdowns to tie. Seahawks rush 4, drop 7. Tim Brown underneath.
You know, Michael, we gave an awful lot of credit, which they deserve, as the offensive line of Seattle. But you look at the defense and what they have done against the Raiders. There's only gained 63 yards rushing the ball tonight. And they weren't out of this game, not out of the game, but it wasn't a 14-point spread until just a little while ago.
They had done a superb job, as we said, until a week ago. No back had gained more than 52 yards against the Raiders until Stephen Davis tore them up for 142. So their run defense, courtesy of all those outstanding free agents, had been much improved, but they're playing tonight without John Randall and Marcus Robertson, 2 of their most sure tacklers. 2nd and 10 for the Raiders. Clock running, 5:47 to go. And Ritchie drops it.
You know, it's the one thing that I have seen tonight from the Raiders I have not seen all year is balls put on the ground. Ritchie dropped that one. Tim Brown struggled a little bit with a couple of throws. This is just one thing you have not seen from this football team. They've been extremely efficient hanging on to the football. And in this offense, where you don't have a big, deep threat to go 70, 80 yards for you, you need the guys to hold on to it.
Third and 10. Barry Sims moved early. It'll be 3rd and 15.
False start, 65. Offense, 5-yard penalty.
If there was ever a question whether it was 2 downs to pick up the first down, now that's it. Of course, Sims is mad at himself as can be. Chad Brown is in the position that he likes now, being used a lot more as a pass rusher.
The Raiders came into this game 6-1, having beaten Seattle 38-14 in the first meeting, and the Seahawks have turned it around. Gannon needs 15. He's going to run. Dragged down by Chad Brown at the 43. They need to reach the 36 for the first down, and no question they'll go for it on 4th.
Well, I think you have to, is because the way the Seahawks are running the football, and you've got to still have 3 timeouts. You've got to go for it on 4th down, and which they're doing.
I think you find Jerry Rice in the middle of the football field.
Gannon straight back. And in the middle of the football field at the 30. Nice call, Jerry Rice.
Now, if you're one guy, if I had one guy besides Brett Favre, I would say, who I want in this situation, it is Rich Gannon. That was a 4th down and 7. They never called a timeout. This gives you an idea of just how efficient and in control he is.
Gannon takes off again. Inside the 15 to the 14-yard line, Simmons tripped him up. Rich Gannon took a tremendous shot to the helmet last week. Woozy for a while, got back in the ball game. He's not afraid to run.
That's why I think he's an MVP. I think he's the best player in the National Football League through the first half of the season. Last year, he finished high in the voting all year long. He does so many things to allow this offense to move the ball down the field.
He will go to his 3rd straight Pro Bowl this year. 4 minutes. Garner. Simmons again went for the big shot and didn't wrap him up. Was really fortunate that he could get him this time.
They're going to call, I think, a personal foul against the Seattle Seahawks, which really comes at a bad time because it's going to also stop the clock.
I'll tell you what, Simmons hit Garner, knocked him back.
Now this is away from the play. This will be off on the right side. Here's the hit.
What's
Simmons just knocks the living daylights out of him. Now off to the left, there's a personal foul committed. Whoa.
Simmons knocked him back.
Personal
5 yards for a
foul,
5-yard loss.
94, defense. After the play is over, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Chad Brown. That moves the ball to the 5 where it's first and goal. Stops the clock with 3:48
But the
left.
stoppage of the clock is critical because the Raiders have all 3 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning, and now they get the benefit of a stoppage of the clock as well.
John Randall looking on now, first and goal for Gannon. Brown in motion. Throws for Rice. He's double covered. Good idea by the Seattle defense. Springs and Reggie Tongue had him bracketed.
Chad Brown is jawing with everybody.
I guess you could say he's having fun.
Yeah, he's having a great time. I mean, you know, and you're not going to threaten that guy.
Man raises snakes. You can't threaten a man who raises snakes.
No, you can't.
I don't even want to.
Can't reason with him either. Second and goal. Touchdown. The tight end, Roland Williams. His first catch of the night, his first touchdown of the year, and it came at a great time for John Gruden.
Just his 14th catch.
Touchdown. The tight end, Roland Williams. His first catch of the night, his first touchdown of the year, and it came at a great time for John Gruden.
Just his 14th catch. This is an offense because of the addition of Jerry Rice and the development of Jerry Porter that Roland Williams hasn't really been able to blossom in. He's still learning. Rich Gannon totally under control, as cool as it gets. They get the isolation they're looking for, and he winds up with the touchdown.
Janikowski for the point after. And it's a 7-point ball game with 3:40 to go. And the Raiders have all their timeouts left. The Seattle offense is going to have to do it again. An exciting ball game. 34-27 Seahawks over the Raiders. Janikowski to kick off to Williams. At the goal line. Terry Kirby on special teams. He's been all over the field. Be sure to be with us after the ball game. Sports Center coming your way. When we are done here, exclusive news on one of baseball's biggest stars, Michael Jordan with the worst shooting night of his career, and Chris Berman comes along with his top 10 plays.
And what Matt Hasselbeck has to do, because he's a big star tonight, as well as Sean Alexander, is I believe in this drive he's going to have to come up with a big play throwing the football. The Raiders have got to commit people to the line of scrimmage to help their defensive line stop the run, which ought to give them some one-on-one opportunities.
243 yards rushing for Alexander, approaching the top 5 all time.
Joseph, they put 8 guys in the box, 3 guys back basically, and Sean Alexander just gained 5.5 yards.
But see, they can't put 8 in the box. They've got to put 8 at the line. They've got to commit the backers and the backs close to the line of scrimmage.
The only problem with that is that the 2 guys who are blocking at the point of attack are making their blocks, and it's allowing Sean Alexander to get that one little crack that he needs. They're going to take as much time off of this clock as they possibly can. I would think the Raiders would take time out.
The other thing is, remember, Sean Alexander got himself a pretty good rest because the Raiders had a pretty decent drive.
He has 248 yards rushing, only 30 short of the all-time best. 3 more here. And now the Raiders will use a timeout. 2:38 to go. And the second-year player, Alabama, drafted a year ago, has just destroyed the Raiders here in the second half. 251 yards on 32 carries. That ties for the 4th best all time with Mike Anderson. The Raiders have 2 timeouts left, plus the 2-minute warning. Here are the updated numbers on the all-time record. Corey Dillon, of course, at 278. Walter Payton, 3 behind that. O.J., 273. Now Alexander and Mike Anderson tied at 251.
And I think the worst thing you can do if you're Seattle on this particular play is run Shaw and Alexander east and west.
Well, they have run that little stretch play that goes to the end and off tackle.
I would not in this situation. I think the Raiders are going to put a lot of people around the line of scrimmage. If you try and run a stretch play, it allows penetration. You pound it right up the middle, just like you've been doing all night.
Got Max Strong right in front of him, who's been blocking extremely well all night.
Alexander cuts it back. He's got the first down to the 27-yard line.
Max Strong, good block.
Max Strong, good block. I'm moving over here. Bad guess, Joe. Bad guess.
I believe one of us said something about a stretch play.
I thought it was terrific, Mike. They do a nice job of blocking this again.
Look at number 38 in front of him. Look at number 38, Max Strong. And then Alexander back inside.
Again, Itula Mealy. Nice job, but the tight ends are doing a super job.
Let's go down to Susie.
Well, this is the time when Matt Hasselbeck gets to show Mike Holmgren that he can trust him. All week long in practice, he was trying to put last week's mistakes behind him. Now it's a matter of staying in control. Holmgren has said that one of his strengths is one of his weaknesses. He's a bright, creative thinker, but he allows a million things to come into his head on any given play. Right now, it should be one thought: stay in control. We can win the game.
Well, I just think that, Susie, I agree with you, but I just think that Holmgren will be making all the calls, and he's going to say to Matt on the sideline when he brought him over here, don't you even think about calling an audible.
Well, it is always a difficult situation. Remember all the stories that Mike Holmgren told us about Brett Favre in Green Bay. It was a development process, and look what he ended up with. One of the great quarterbacks of all time.
But he said, do it my way.
That's right, and that's what he's telling Hasselbeck. My way. Oh, no. Hasselbeck went the wrong way that time, and they'll lose a couple. The Raiders will use their final timeout. They still have the 2-minute warning to stop the clock.
That's youth. That's what it is. That's youth right there. You saw in the drive the Raiders had to have Rich Gannon not make that kind of mistake. Matt Hasselbeck winds up in a situation where either he goes the wrong way. I'm pretty much sure he went the wrong way, not Sean Alexander.
You know what you got? You know what you got to be driving Coach crazy, Joe? Is that they just came off a timeout. The guy comes to the sideline, and the head coach tells him exactly what to do. They go in and they screw up the play.
21 straight games the Raiders have played on the road. The game's been decided by 10 or fewer points. This one is within 7. And look at John Ritchie. He's going to have some memories of this one. And consecutive road games of 10 or fewer. The Raiders, with the all-time record, Philadelphia and Chicago had 13 straight.
Ritchie looks like one of those guys that got hit in the head in the wrestling ring with a chair.
Yeah, but this is real.
That's real blood.
Oh, yeah, this is real.
2nd and 13. Alexander. Beekert got him.
Now the clock will run down to the 2-minute warning. It'll be 3rd down and 12. Here's the question that faces Mike Holmgren. Do you try and pick it up and put the ball in the hands of your quarterback?
No.
Or do you run the football?
Yes.
Let the clock run down, punt it, allow the Raiders to have a minute and probably, I'd say, a minute and 20 seconds with no timeouts to try and get a touchdown.
I like your second choice.
Okay.
We'll be back in a moment. You fellas will look forward to it.
We have got a humdinger here.
Boy, this is a real cliff dweller.
3rd and 12. If Seattle gets a first down, it's over. The Raiders are out of timeouts. And they'll run Alexander.
Oh, boy.
Alexander to the 36. He'll be about 1.5 yards shy of a first down, and his opportunity for the all-time record may have just disappeared. It's currently held by Corey Dillon at 278.
He just picked up 11, didn't he?
He's got 267.
Now what Matt Hasselbeck is going to do is he's going to stand next to the referee, and they're going to let this clock run all the way down. There's 16:15. He's just standing there next to him, and he says, I'll tell you when to call the timeout. My guess is it'll be with about, 1 or 2 seconds.
Check the numbers on Alexander. They've reduced it to 266. And the only way he's going to get the record is if the Raiders fail to keep the ball.
You know, Joe, one of the things we were just watching the official in Hasselbeck. Before, when you played, you had to call it yourself. The official would be standing there. Hasselbeck just told the referee, when it gets down to 1 second,
no, that's what we used to do it. Yeah, you'd walk over, knowing you want the timeout, you'd walk over to the official. Yeah, Jim Tunney was one of them. One of the guys you'd walk over and say, Jim, when that clock hits 7 seconds, I want the timeout. And then, you know, it's sort of in his hands to take care of it, so the coach can't yell at you after that. The other thing that's critical here is if Tim Brown is back to return the punt, I think it's important that he fair catches this ball and saves as much time as he can for the offense instead of trying to make a play and run with it.
They're only sending one guy out on the wing, so what they're going to do is they've been trying to punt block all night long, and they're coming after this because they don't have that much confidence in their center, and they think that they can get to the kicker.
Fiegels has had 7 blocked in his career.
Here they come. Here they come.
Fiegels did his job and got it out of there. Tim Brown, fair catch at the 22. 1:07, no timeouts for Rich Gannon. They need a touchdown to tie.
This offense is set up to do a very good job to get the ball near the sidelines so that guys can get out of bounds and stop the clock. This is something you want to watch. You can run. I think Richie Gannon could run 9 to 10 plays and still have opportunities to put the ball in the end zone.
This, Michael, is the old Brett Favre school.
Keep the sticks moving.
Keep the sticks moving. Get your first downs. Don't worry about blistering somebody deep. You've got plenty of time.
They don't blister anybody anyway.
And he's got 2 of the best of all time. Guys who know how to get open and then catch it. Rice to the 38. They can't stop the clock. A gain of 15.
Move the sticks. Oh.
Gannon throws short. That's a poor decision. That's inbounds. Garner made the catch.
Problem is that Jerry Porter was on the line of scrimmage, then moved off the line of scrimmage. He was supposed to, they threw a flag against number 84 Porter. He was lined up, and then when Brown came into the slot, he backed off, and they got him.
Let me tell you, it's probably the best thing that could have happened to the Raiders. It's only a 5-yard penalty, and yards aren't necessarily as important as the time is right now.
Charlie Garner did a real bright thing at the end of that play. He was down on his knees, inbounds, stuck a foot out, and got it out of bounds to stop the clock. Springs comes up limping. Their best defensive back. 40 seconds on the clock. 1st and 15. Rice to the Seattle 48-yard line.
Rich is going to ground the ball now. He'll have about 22 seconds by the time he manages to get the snap off.
The Raiders are not going quietly.
One thing about Rich Gannon, Joe, two out of these 3 passes, and he had a minute and some odd seconds with no timeouts. He's one of the few quarterbacks that will still throw that ball in the middle with 40 seconds on that last play. It took 18 seconds that he burned it, but he will throw the ball in the middle because he knows the middle's open.
Well, they have done a statistical study. If you throw the ball 15 to 20 yards downfield, catch it inbounds, it will take your offense about 13 seconds to get to the line of scrimmage.
Which means they've got a little bit less than 2 plays.
They've got to go sideline or deep. And Gannon throws this one away, intended for Brown at the sideline. 17 ticks on the clock. It will be 3rd down.
Well, you know, if they get close, the way things have gone this year, especially in Chicago with the Bears, that if he could get one into the end zone, there's no telling whose hands it'll wind up with. Probably Mike Brown will wind up catching it from, fly out here from Chicago and wind up somehow getting it in his hand.
I love the one sign on that telecast today. I swear I will never leave a Bears game early.
Well, you won't leave a Seahawk game early now either.
3rd and 10. Pressure screen.
Oh.
And Randy Jordan couldn't keep his balance. He fell down inbounds. Now they can't down the ball. They've got to try to get the first down. That is a killer.
Wow.
Whew. What a way to end it. And Mike Holmgren, the teacher, has beaten the pupil 3 straight times in Seattle. Everything that could have gone wrong on the screen went wrong. Jordan couldn't keep his feet and couldn't get out of bounds.
I mean, this was a gutsy call. They were trying to get him to get it as much yardage as he could, get out of bounds, and when he slips, it's all over.
Seattle with a big win tonight, 34-27 over the Raiders. For our entire ESPN